Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. I'm feeling a bit under the weather recently, uh, with my paranoias and mental health problems. But just to let you know, on a side note, but don't be too pessimistic. But I want to be try to be cheery and all that. But yeah, so I'm hoping the guy upstairs, so to speak, will show me that little on the thing. Anyway, hopefully things will work out. But anyways, this is I'll try and make it a cheery video. But this is some of my football dreams. Obviously, this is part 3, so please check out parts 1 and 2 if you haven't already done so. And I'll try to be, as I say, cheery and upbeat as much as possible, and talk about some of the ways football can be used for good, which I hope to come to. So anyway, as I say, as a fan of Italian football and Celtic especially, or even I would love to support Eurasian, Transcontinental, Middle Eastern and Mediterranean teams, but mostly Eurasian or Transcontinental or Middle Eastern teams aren't that great. So and Italy has won quite a few trophies and is quite successful at both national and club team level. So I think there's a good incentive to support them because they've won quite a lot, so they have quite a good chance to become more successful. So that's one of the reasons why I support Italy as well. So like the Eurasian or Transcontinental, Middle Eastern, or other Mediterranean nations, a lot of time don't have quite. I like Spanish football as well and French football, but yeah, I'd love to connect Eurasian, Transcontinental, Middle Eastern, and Mediterranean nations through football, and like to encourage them to get on well through football and like work together in politics as well. And also, I'd love to help Italian football and Celtic to be inextricably linked, so they can share goals and work together. So, for instance, Italian football at all levels, from grassroots to the lower leagues, amateur football to the lower leagues, and then all the way up to Serie and the national team, and at youth level especially, can work with Celtic and vice versa. So they would help Celtic to practice as much as possible and help them share ideas and things like that, and vice versa. So hopefully Italian football teams will help Celtic to become as successful as possible, and also Celtic will help them both at national and local level to become as successful as possible. So I hope to, as I say, to make Italian football and Celtic to be inextricably linked as much as possible. Anyway, on to my list video. So I hope it won't be too long, and I hope people out there will enjoy it as much as possible. So with that being said, number 21, I would love to help Italian football to return back to the glory days, like help Italian football to become great again. So I'd love to have a hashtag, please help Italian football to be great again. Like I say, please be extra polite, but so like encouraging sponsors to invest in youth academies, facilities, opportunities for people to practice and to invest in the football clubs. So buying overseas players, I know I've mentioned this in previous videos, but yeah, so to basically with the goal of helping Italian football to be great again, and like having 5 to 10 year plans, investing in the youth, and I'd welcome any sponsorship or investment into Italian football and for course Celtic, on 2 conditions really, or maybe a few conditions, but 2 main conditions. One, they help Italian football teams and Celtic and even the national team, Italian national team, to win as many trophies as possible, like World Cups, in the case of Italy, World Cups and Euros in the future, and Olympics and things like that, youth level as well. As well as the senior team, to win as many trophies as possible, especially World Cups and even Euros, I say, but especially World Cups, and also the Italian the club teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, to win things like the Europa League or Champions League even, and even the World Club Cup and things like that. So those who follow football, I think, would know what those are. But yeah, and also help Celtic to do well as well. So again, inextricably link Italian football and Celtic together as much as possible. Whenever I mention one, generally speaking, I mention the other. Not always, but generally speaking. So yeah, to help Italian football to be as good as possible, and again, to bring it back to the glory days. I'll drink to that, I should have said. But yeah, so number 22, again, looking into the future, like 5 to 10 year plans. How can Italian football and Celtic respectively like develop and improve and continue to improve? Sorry, I forgot to say the second condition would be that any investors into Italian football and Celtic would also, as well as helping the teams to win trophies, would help the foundations or the charitable work that they do around the world, especially in overseas countries, which brings me on to point 23. I would love for Italian football and Celtic to do a lot of fundraising for, or donate some of their profits if they make more money, as well as winning trophies. I would love them to give poor people, especially including in Italy itself, opportunities to get into football and to practice and play football at academies and practice as much as possible. Give them football kits, footballs, and opportunities as much as possible to play football. And also, so I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so also do a lot for charity work as well. So as a lot with the Celtic Foundation, doing a lot of charity work overseas in Africa and Asia, also in Ireland and around the world, especially in poorer countries and developing countries. And I'd love for Italian football and Celtic also to have like, I'd love to fundraise for them or to help them to fundraise to have like, and encourage others to do the same. So they have supporters, clubs and academies for young people, and well, people, the sports clubs for people of all ages, and the academies mainly for young people, all across the world, across Malaysia, India, Indonesia, and the rest of Asia, especially Singapore, and all over Asia, really, like China as well, Japan, Korea, and places like that. So both Italian teams and Celtic to have like all the possible sports clubs, and also, as I say, academies to bring young people, both from overseas and develop young players in Italy, including those from poorer backgrounds, to help them to get into football, like to pay for their training and scholarships and things like that to get them into football. So hopefully that will give a bigger pool of talent, so it benefit both the local teams and the national team, and a mix of buying overseas players and players with experience, and also having young Italian players coming through. And again, similar with Celtic, like obviously having young players as well as experience as well. And some of them might be local Scottish players, and some of them might be from overseas. Some might be from Ireland and places like that as well. And again, they might have more Italian players in the future as well. But yeah, I'd love to do like loads of fundraising and like work with FIFA and UEFA to do like football for good. I know Celtic's already kind of involved in that. I'd love to get Italian teams involved in that, and like again work with football authorities such as FIFA and UEFA and possibly others, and like maybe like African and Asian and Latin American organizations, and even in Australia working with Indigenous Australians, as well as in America working with the native people from the Americas, Indigenous peoples, so that they can so that developing more Indigenous people from those places as well, and having academies like in Cameroon, Nigeria and Kenya and all over Africa as well, and South Africa, places like that, which would hopefully help their economies as well, but mutually benefit Italian football and Celtic, and improve relations as well with African and Asian nations and others. And yeah, I'd love to work with my fellow YouTubers, like football YouTube channels. I know my channel is not specifically to YouTube. I cover a range of different topics, but I do cover some football ideas and things like that. But yeah, I'd love to play football with or organise events. Obviously, whilst we're still sort of going through some restrictions due to COVID, it'll be difficult to do, but I'd love to work with other football fans as much as possible, like organise events where we could play football and record on YouTube, and fundraise for charities to help homeless people and disabled people and disadvantaged people generally around the world. Number 24, sorry this video is a bit long, but yeah, I'd love to benefit both, as I say, the national team and the local teams in Italy. So developing younger players, I think, would benefit both. It would mean you wouldn't have to spend so much money on buying players, perhaps not quite the same levels, although we could still buy a few good overseas players, as I say, but developing more younger players could save money, and eventually you'll be able to sell them on as well. Number 25, I'd love for Italian teams, even though they're rivals, to support each other as much as possible when they're playing non-Italian teams. And again, for Italian football and Celtic, and also Eurasian, Transcontinental, Middle Eastern and Mediterranean nations generally to work together. Number 26, I would love to give back, like Italy could also reparate some of the countries it's colonized through like fundraising through football, and like have football events where they fundraise to help Ethiopian, Tunisian and Eritrea and other such countries they colonized. It could help their technology and STEM development and things like that. And maybe like they could build football academies in those countries and help them to become footballers as well. Number 27, I hope to like acknowledge and award and support the PR of all possible companies that invest in Italian football and Serie or Celtic, or do stuff for charity and things like that. So hopefully there'll be like a list of people that have done that to acknowledge them. Number 28, again, I hope to have as many as I'd like to make the world a better place and make it most possible positives out negatives and things like that. Number 29, I would love for my fellow Anglo-Indians and possibly Eurasians or mixed race people generally to improve our relations with Italian football and Celtic, like, or support Italian football and Celtic as much as possible, and hopefully Italians will reciprocate as well, so hopefully improve relations generally. And I would love to see Italians improve relations with Africans through football, and again with Asians and others around the world, like improve relations with the rest of the world through football. And number 30, again, I'd love to have as much investment into Italian football and Celtic as possible, like the world's billionaires, Fortune 500 companies, Cascade Investment, Berkshire Hathaway and others, Bridgewater, BlackRock, and so many big companies investing into Italian football and Celtic, like even the PIF investing in those as well. Just as they invest in Newcastle, apparently they want to buy more teams. So hopefully they'll buy into and Celtic and invest a lot. And hopefully both Italian teams and Celtic again will have as many shareholders as possible and people sponsoring and investing in like youth facilities and opportunities. So hope you found this video a little bit interesting and positive, and at least overall. And I am out. Peace out.